Let's go.
Cool. Hey, Morbid. Super excited to have you on. The purpose of this video, the way that me and KG were thinking about it, was we want to shoot this video as like a basic 101 or an explainer into how projects should think about Korea and especially like go to market in Korea. I've been listening to a lot of your stuff on the podcast that you do. I wanted to flip it up where we ask you the questions instead of you asking them. Did you want to give a quick intro? And then we can get started from there.
Sure. Hey guys, this is Morbid. My real name is Juhyuk. It's a Korean name, which most people have a hard time pronouncing. I used to work at Dspread, but I just quit my job a few months ago. I'm just working as a freelancer. I create videos. I just ship post on Twitter. I have my Telegram channel in Korean, and I also have my Substack, which I write in English too. And yeah, I just kind of like to write about a lot of things, but in crypto specifically, I think my I don't know like my special sauce is shitting on Korea basically. It's not all about like shitting on Korea though. It's a love and hate thing. I really like Korea, but I also see a lot of problems in Korea too. So my pieces are pretty critical, and I think people like it. Yeah.
100%. I've been reading your stuff for the last week and definitely enjoy your Substack. Probably a good place to start is could you kind of dive into the current landscape? You said some things you like, some things you don't like. Could you kind of dive into the current landscape of demographics of crypto in Korea? And maybe if it's relevant for you, also talk about the pre-Luna era.
Yeah. So things I like about Korea is that it's a very dynamic country. I returned to Korea in 2021 when before I was living in Australia for university. I went to Perth, Australia in 2018 and returned in 2021. I was planning to just stay in Australia, but I was like, man, this place is boring and there's really nothing to do. There's no opportunity. So uh, as many know, Seoul is a very big city. It's K-pop, food, people, infrastructure, companies. It's all there. So I thought just moving back to Seoul would be a better way to get exposure to opportunity here, and yeah, that's what I like. There's a lot of opportunity. People are passionate about what they do. But in crypto, what I don't like in Korea is probably the regulations and the perception on crypto. Most people think it's gambling. Back in 2017, we had this little incident where the government almost tried to block crypto trading because for some reason the men upstairs thought it was a gambling vehicle, whatever, and it's slowly changing, but still, I think people are not that used to it because a lot of wacky things happen, including Luna, and but before talking about Luna, if we talk about the demographics here, well, I saw a statistic that there are around like 10 million uh, accounts on centralized exchanges. I'm not sure how accurate that is because that might have replicate accounts on different exchanges. So I think I've seen this other statistic from Hashed, which said that it's almost around 7 million. So let's just say it's like 7 million to 10 million. That's a lot of people because the population of Korea is 50 million. And if that is true, then probably like 1 out of 5 people trade coins or they have experience in it. And the most surprising part in Korea is that a lot of old people trade. I mean, not trade, they invest in crypto, especially XRP, Pi Network, Stellar Lumens. Like these really old dino coins are hot on Upbit actually. If you look at the daily runners, you see like these ridiculous things that you've never heard its name since like 2018 just running hot like that's a daily runner on Upbit. So it's a funny place. It's not like you see Pui's like running on Solana with JD Vance's ridiculous face on the coin. It's just a bunch of old coins just doing its own thing. So it's a pretty different place. And I think like a lot of 30 to 40 men invest a lot in crypto. And yeah, it's a pretty diverse market. And like before Luna, I wouldn't say it's similar to pre-Luna, because pre-Luna, so when I started to work in crypto, it was 2021 November. That was like the peak of that bull run. And it was all downhill from there. But in 2021, there was a lot of hope. There was a lot of like people genuinely thought that this was the future. There were a lot of research articles talking about like how this can change finance, like how this can change something in Web 2 and make a Web 3 version out of it. And I was one of the people who were actually writing those type of articles. And then Luna happened. So, and then a lot of people lost money, and the brand of crypto just kind of, it just went to grounds. I mean, I don't even know how to describe this. Is
Yeah,
people were suicidal. It
yeah.
was bad.
It must have been like it was horrible in India. Like I remember when that happened, and every group chat I was in was talking about. I would assume it was even more horrible in Korea. I wanna rewind it back a little, going back to like the landscape. I think from what I've seen and what I've read, okay, so my knowledge on Korea is based on Wormhole's activities in Korea, the four pillar articles I read, the stuff that Morbid posts, D-Spread posts, and like all these Presto Labs podcasts. Korea is the single most, like it's the most concentrated area of crypto users in the world. Like you could go to Korea and instantly tap into like this 10 million user market, which makes it really interesting for a lot of people. Another interesting thing, Morbid, that I read that I wanted to talk to you about when it comes to demographics. You talked about like these 30 to 40-year-old males trading cryptocurrencies. Is it true that Koreans also trade like US securities, and they don't like to trade like the Korean market? They prefer to trade like exotic markets that are outside the scope of Korea?
The Tesla community in Korea is crazy. So on Twitter, there's like this little sector. You know how like on crypto Twitter, Bitcoin maxis have their own little, algorithm going on. Like there's their own feed of like Bitcoin maxis like doing, like how Bitcoin maxi Twitter is so big. It's almost like that. It's there's like this whole other crowd of Tesla maxis I probably don't even know that exist. But if it's like coming into my feed, that means that shit's crazy. And I see some, these people, like these big FinTwit influencers always talking about Tesla. They like, go crazy on Elon Musk lives. Like they, read Elon Musk, they breathe Elon Musk, they just suck dick. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy that how Tesla is so popular in Korea, and like they do a lot of exotic um derivatives on Nasdaq, and these I don't know stocks, so I don't know how to say this, but they do a lot of
there,
leveraged.
there there's a market there for like Korean 30 to 40-year-old, like anyone that, like, there's a market for US securities in Korea as well.
Yeah, that's 100%. And
That's wild.
that's because people don't like domestic stocks because they just go down, man. Um the recent scan, there was like this big outcry of how the Samsung Electronics stocks were just going, it was down only since like 2021, and now people are just crying and they just don't know what to do. Like it was a big thing in Korea recently.
Yeah. And, I just want to sort of double dive into that. Like a theory that I read, I think this was a four pillar. No, this was a Primitive Ventures article. They were talking about how, when like a Korean person, if they have to go and buy a house, they have to like give a huge down payment, like 70 to 30% just to rent. And it and the Korean market, as you said, is also down only. Do you think like the traditional options for people to invest that are available in other countries is limited in Korea, which is why we see a lot of people interested in like these exotic investment opportunities where it's like 1 to 1,000, and that's what they want, which sort of drives the culture of trading in Korea?
I wouldn't know But yes, the down payment thing is a true thing, but I don't know how much that would affect stock trading, like appetite for trading these like ridiculous leveraged uh ETFs, whatever. But the thing is, most people want to buy a house in Seoul, or specifically Gangnam in Seoul, and they're all really expensive. So since you cannot do a fractionalized investment in these apartments or houses, I guess that's why they resort to these other stocks and crypto.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's kind of the same behavior. I think what Rashid is mean to say is the behavior is kind of driven by that, where they just can't see the existing markets to offer those kind of opportunities and get those same rewards. Whereas something like crypto, and they just see all these stories and kind of get addicted to it. And the same thing, right? Like people in America as well. Like you just see the Chipotle news where they are trying buy now later kind of scheme with stuff like that. Like those kind of things are driving their financial decisions. So my question is, how why do you think like this group of, we don't see this in India, like where a set of like, my grandmother is not buying XRP or any crypto, or she's not buying into any of these. She may be exposed to one of these MLM schemes, but why do you think like the Koreans like how do you think the Koreans are exposed to these very different coins? And because they are not on Twitter, right? That age group is not on Twitter. How are they exposed to these different coins that maybe have these cult communities, but like how do you think they're like exposed to all these diners and stuff?
Like you said, back in, let's say, 2016, 2015, there were a lot of multi-level marketing schemes in Korea too. I'm not gonna say the ticker, but yeah, that's what I heard. I wasn't very interested in how marketing worked in 2015, 2017, but that is a type of stereotype people had on crypto back in the day, and that's how people got into it. And recently, more recently, uh there are a lot of ads about crypto, actually, like on in Gangnam Station. If you've ever been to Seoul, Gangnam Station is a big station. It's like a very central big station, and they you see a lot of exchanges advertising there. Sometimes I think I saw Uniswap actually advertising in Gangnam Station once. And like every other random day, I get to see these like meme coins actually advertising in Korea too. I think I saw like Mew. I don't even know, like these coins that I don't even remember, but yeah, the advertising on streets, like these big billboards, that's real. And I think I don't know, maybe there are spies that go into these communities, but I don't know. I think these grannies, they actually advise, I mean, recommend their friends, which are also grannies, to other coins too. But yeah, a lot of crypto companies come here and they just do a lot of marketing, I guess.
Yeah, I think in
Yeah,
some of these, one of these, like whenever we see a wild pump in one of these dinos, everyone on Twitter is like, the Korean grannies are buying. That's the Korean granny scandal.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, probably they're not buying, like their grandsons are buying.
yeah. No, I'll give you an example. Like I remember, what was it, last year or last year, the APT meme blew up, and everyone was bidding Aptos, for instance, and it was like, it's the entire Korean market. Do you remember that, Morbid? Like,
Yeah.
do you remember why that happened?
Uh, there's actually a funny story. So, 아파트, APT, the song from Rose and Bruno Mars, it actually means apartment, which is like, a basic unit of a house in Korea. And you know how it's APT, so it's Aptos. I mean, I think this meme even goes further down to the past when actually people started to, I don't even know, but were tricked, or it was just memed to buy Aptos because it meant APT, apart, apartment. So I don't even know if this like had any relevance, but
That's wild.
But
You know, like
I think
how we talk about like Ronaldo being the ideal brand ambassador for Sui. Like it's literally there. Like all Sui has to do is fucking sign Ronaldo, and they're done. I think Aptos should just sign Rose at this point and be like, you know, just do the song at multiple, do the billboards, do everything. The other, okay, so interesting, KG. You probably don't know this, but Korean influencers or like top tier celebrities don't actually want to endorse crypto. Uh, Morbid, is that correct? Like that's basically what I've been told all the time.
yeah,
Like
I
someone like
think
a
that would be the
Son
case.
from Spurs, like Son from Spurs will not talk about crypto, for instance.
Oh, I don't exactly know, but that's what I would believe. Yeah, I mean, like crypto is as I said earlier, it doesn't has like the most positive perception from the public,
Yeah.
and most people think of it as a scam. Like Luna, it kind of fucked things up. Uh, Still like back in the day they did a lot of multi-level marketing. That's why they think it's a bad thing because multi-level marketing, even though it's legal, it has like a bad
Yeah.
connotation to it. So I think top celebrities, they have no incentive to actually go with crypto unless they're really hungry for money. So yeah, I guess that's why.
That makes sense. And then
I think
does
like
the
most of them
soul?
are traders, right? Like most of the ones who kind of support in Korea are traders, like shilling, reflings, and stuff like that.
I don't so not celebrities you're talking about, right?
Yeah, the kind of influencers in general based in Korea.
Yeah, so I think there are multiple types of influencers who come into crypto. So one instance is what you just said is just people who didn't really do crypto, trying to get into the crypto game for after seeing their peers making a lot of money doing ref links. I actually know one guy who had no like exposure to crypto at all. He was like this prank video YouTuber guy, and then he wanted to get into crypto, and but he had no clue, so he didn't know how to create his videos. And you see the other type of people who are more thesis driven. This singer called Baekhyun. I don't know if this is I'm pronouncing it right or remembering his name right. But there's this guy. He's like a literal Bitcoin maxi. So there are multiple type of people who get into crypto for different reasons. But if you're trying to create content out of trading, I would guess that you don't really understand crypto that much, and probably trading it has the lower barrier compared to actually doing research and being a maxi, right? And it's much more entertaining to watch people losing money than like preaching
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
Is there Morbid? Like that influencer came on to the crypto scene in Korea. Is there like an Ansem figure in the Korean community where it's like if anyone wants to get into crypto, this is the guy you should talk to?
Oh, I think for Bitcoin there's this one guy called Otemin. He's very controversial because he talks a lot about Bitcoin, but he also issued his own token. It's called a BTC Mobic, and there's like a whole backstory of it. I actually debated one of the key figures of the community on my YouTube channel before, and yeah, he's a very smart guy. He used to talk about Bitcoin for years. He's still talking about Bitcoin on his YouTube. And when these big broadcast stations want to get someone's opinion, it's usually him who comes on and talks about Bitcoin. So I think a lot of Koreans are influenced by his thinking, which kind of involves a lot of politics, and it kind of involves a lot of you know ideology and you know monetary history. So if you look at the Korean Bitcoin community, a lot of people tend to be very scholarly people, if that's a word. Um, and I think they tend to become Bitcoin maxis too easy because the way he talks about Bitcoin, it kind of puts
Like
Bitcoin on a pedestal.
these are the people that sit around in a room and they're like, there are only 21 tokens, nation states are buying. Like you're talking about that, like that's happening in Korea amongst like
Yeah,
the Bitcoin maxis as well. That's wild.
yeah. It's there's actually a huge Bitcoin maxi community in Korea, and I actually
It's
have
pretty cool.
history with these guys too.
I personally like the trader on Twitter. I think her name is Jadudu or something. She trades live, and so she has all these viral movements. I think that she's like one of the funnier ones. But also like we talked about trading and we talked about different communities. Everyone outside of Korea, at least in other markets, they kind of view these wild pumps that we see at some point because of upbit listing and stuff like that. They treat that as like an exit liquidity group. Do you feel that way, or is it something kind of
And
different?
I've actually heard Morbid talk about this in one of his podcasts. I think it was with Peter from Presto, and he was like the key line of that. Like Morbid had cut that out, and that was at the start. Like people projects treat Asia as exit liquidity, especially Korea. So I definitely want to get your views on that.
I think it's almost like a half joke, but I hope it's a joke, but I think it's not because the thing is there's not a lot of builders in Korea. We have a huge like trading community. Grannies, they bring all their money from their closet and deposit it into Upbit and let people just, get rich out of their, like savings they saved up for 20 years or something. So, uh yeah, I think Koreans, including myself, have this I don't know, like perception of that Korea is actually exit liquidity, but sometimes it's not. If you think about it, it's not really that way because to become exit liquidity, you need these VC tokens to unlock, and most of these listings take place when the token just TGE. So it's basically users who got the airdrop PvPing each other or new buyers on Upbit getting wrecked. So in a way, it's just Koreans using other Koreans as exit liquidity, or someone who is using illegal methods dumping their tokens on Koreans because foreigners are not allowed to trade on Korean exchanges.
And also,
That makes sense.
before you wrap it, there's always a premium on Korean exchanges, right?
Not always. Sometimes it goes the other way. Sometimes when the markets are really bad, it's called reverse kimchi premium. It gets cheaper. But usually when it's really high, when the kimchi premium gets really, really high, that means we're at the top of a bull cycle. And that kind of happened. But these kimchi premium indicators may be a bit more less pronounced in the future because institutional trading accounts will be enabled soon, which will do all the arbitraging from on chain or other exchanges, which will kind of dilute a lot of that kimchi premium. So I actually talked about this too. But still, kimchi premium happened, even though we have a lot of whales who do all the arbing. And yeah, that's one indicator you should look at, the kimchi premium.
It's pretty interesting. Um, Talking more about that and Morbid, I also saw a stat that like 90 or 90 plus percent of Korean crypto users are mostly on centralized exchanges. And you talked about how they're sort of PvPing each other on the airdrop. If they're not on chain and they're not using DeFi or they're not using projects on chain, how are they actually getting the airdrop? Like, what's the project playbook for Korea to give an airdrop out?
So I think projects, when they give out airdrops, the people they're giving airdrops to are a very small fraction of people who are in Korea. Because the statistics say that maybe around 27%, I don't know exact figures, but around that number of Koreans have experience in trading on dexes. And I think people who may have received airdrops will be lower than that. But the thing is, the people who are on chain have some huge uh, capital waiting to farm things pretty pretty often. So the people who are buying, I mean, PvPing, are just new buyers on Upbit and people who acquire tokens for free. So what projects do in Korea is it's pretty typical that you would do a meetup, you would uh, push your message on Telegram, and you would probably want to do some PR push on these media outlets. It could be like a crypto media outlet or like a more traditional outlet. That depends on like who you can uh, be friends with. And after that, I guess like the exchanges see that and decide to list. I don't know how these listings actually uh, get through because I've never worked in an exchange. And even if I know, I wouldn't be able to say it here.
And also, you mentioned Telegram, right? I think even me working with some of the creators in Korea and the interactions, why is Telegram like the most preferred way of promotions? And do Koreans use Telegram more than Twitter, than YouTube? What do you think like the most shows out way for projects to kind of get the word out?
I think it's because mostly Twitter is kind of weak in Korea. Like, not only in crypto, but Twitter as a platform in Korea is not very popular. Because I think Koreans are very they like pictures and videos. And Twitter was all about text like 4 years ago. So that kind of the snowball kind of rolled into um using YouTube more than Twitter or other platforms. Like if you go on commute in commute time in Korea, if you look at people around you in the subway, you'll see everyone just watching YouTube. Nobody scrolls Twitter like me. I'm like the only loser scrolling crypto Twitter on the subway. So I think
But
it's
that's kind of wild. Like if there's a huge Tesla community and Koreans already like Musk, like why isn't Twitter big? Like it's just limited to the ticker. Like that's it.
what do you, can you say
Uh,
that question
that's
again?
it. No, I'm just joking. I'm just saying if Elon Musk is big in Korea and people love Tesla, like why isn't the love transferred to Twitter? I mean, is it because you can't trade Twitter and then
Uh,
that's where the so Elon loyalty cuts off?
I I guess, but also I think even though they like Elon, they don't want to go on Twitter because Twitter
No, I know, I
people
know.
are not.
I'm just
Yeah,
joking.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
but
people are.
okay. So building on that, I saw your recent video about Picoin, um, talking about sort of brand loyalty. Like, what was like, if you want to give a TLDR of the video, that would be awesome as well. But like, how did that come up in Korea?
Well, Pi Network. The official name is Pi Network. Pi Network just got listed on OKX and Gate. I think like these kind of big exchanges, right? Nobody expected that because everyone thought Pi was a scam. Like in Korea, Pi equals scam, but this scam just it listed on OKX, so not scam anymore. So uh that's why everyone was shocked. It was like this should not happen. So even I was like before listening, I was like, why are people doing this? Like it's so bullshit. Then it got listed, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. I gotta go like ask people. I gotta get into this shit. So the video basically it's me and my friend who works with me as a team. We go to our hometown, which is Chunju. It's like a city like of 1 million people down in Jeollabuk-do. It's like 3 hours from Seoul. We go and ask my friend's dad and his friend about Picoin mining because they have like a few thousand or so, and their reaction is pretty eye opening because basically their logic is it's harmless and you don't lose any money from doing this, like referring other people and mining these coins. And there's actually a huge community. Like, there's actually, we visited this cafe that accepts Pi as currency, and I end up not spending my Pi because like there's like these complicated procedures to actually spend it. But it was actually a fun experiment to I mean experience to you know see this huge community.
Yeah, I think I just saw like yesterday or somewhere that 500 stores accept Bitcoin. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah.
Yeah, there's like 572 when I was filming that thing. Maybe it could went up to 600. And there are a lot of things that you can buy with Pi. Like, you can go get like a taekwondo lesson, or maybe get some Korean Chinese food, get a haircut. There's a lot of things you can do. Actually, I don't even know like the variety, how much I can do with Pi actually.
And is that with like a
Maybe that's
crypto
the next
debit
step.
card? Is that with like a crypto debit card instead?
No, it's you just use a Pi wallet, but there's like you need to go through KYC to actually receive or give Pi, I guess. I think that's how it's meant to be. So I actually bought Pi on OKX and tried to spend it at this cafe, but I couldn't because my account wasn't KYC'd. So naturally, I don't want to KYC myself to this like this company. So um I couldn't spend it. But I think if I actually want to spend this Pi, I will figure something out.
And are most Koreans, in your opinion, like the Korean community, are they okay KYCing on like Upbit and Bitbump, for instance?
Yeah, KYCing in Korea is actually, it's a very ordinary thing. Like, I would guess anyone around the world, if they want to use a certain service, they have to do KYC on pretty much everything. And I think that what makes it gives you a sense of security. But
Yeah,
Pi is a totally different story.
that makes sense. Yeah, that's wild. Maybe the next step of adoption in Korea for projects is they need to start doing like on ground BD with like cafes so that their tokens is available for like payment there. That kind of brings me to my next question, Morbid. Like, we talked about the pre-TGE playbook where it's like you need to gather hype, you need to do an event, you need to rally the KOLs or like the Telegram groups, you need to do the media opportunities, and that's how you will get noticed by an exchange or by both exchanges. What do projects do like after TG, for instance?
Uh, I think right now I've seen some examples. For example, Bonk. They're doing a lot of meetups there, and they're just I actually went to one of their meetups as a speaker, like a panel on like a session, and they basically like give out tokens, like do fun stuff. They have like this affiliate program called Miss W. I'm not sure if like they're actually affiliated, but where you go, where Bonk is, there's also Miss W. So maybe they're like friends. I don't know, but usually it's just like meetups or uh random AMAs on Twitter. Honestly, there's not much post TGE, and there are some efforts like writing articles regularly, and just giving out grant money to developers. I think right now there are not many options to actually go for post TGE, and I think it's because of the lack of developers in Korea. Like, I think there's still this stigma in the developer community in Korea that crypto is not a very good place to like learn or grow or something like that. I think that's why a lot of developers are reluctant to join the scene. So if you are a project, then doing a hackathon and actually helping developers could go a long way.
Yeah, we KG. I don't know if you know this, but Warmo Korea is sponsoring like SEOULANA. Uh, I'm probably butchering that, but like Seoul and Anna, like Solana, Superteam Korea's hackathon. Morbid, is that sort of on the ground movement, like a super team structure helping in Korea? Like, have you seen the on ground impact of that so far?
Well, I think I'm not sure. Like, I just joined the super team, so I'm not sure I can like really um speak for them, but I think they are doing some good things. For example, Bushik, he's like a senior developer. He's a good guy. He's doing these calls every week, and he tries to help people, and people in the Solana Foundation who work in Korea. They do these office hours. I think they're trying to help people to consult them in these like problems and whatever thing they have. So I think I'm seeing some positive impact being made by the Solana side, but in other ecosystems, well, I'm not very interested in like a lot of I mean I cannot track down on like every single move in Korea, but I believe that they're oh wait XRP is also doing a hackathon too. So there are some hackathons going on, but in general, I'm not sure if it's the post TG game plan is very solid in Korea.
No, that makes sense. And would you say like before Luna, like I'm trying to understand where the disconnect is because back in 2021, I'd say the Korean developer scene was pretty like up there. Like people like whenever I used to work for a VC fund back in the day, and we'd get a lot of Korean pitches. Like they'd be people who were inspired by Do Kwon, for instance, and they wanted to build their own thing. Um, is that true? Like pre Luna developer activity was there, and then it sort of died down, and then now with like Super Team and XRP and all these developer activations, like are you slowly seeing that come up?
So pre Luna, Korea was big in the Cosmos ecosystem as long as I know. And there's like this whole community that were super into like developing. Um, I'm not really close to these people, but they're called nonce. Like they have like this huge house on a hill in Gangnam. So that's like a lot of people say that's like the sanctuary of crypto in Korea. But I think that place kind of faded after it was around for some years. So uh, a lot of people don't really come out of that place recently because I don't like I'm not like friends with those people. So it sounds like I'm shitting them, but like I just honestly don't know what's going on there. And I think their influence kind of it just kind of decreased over the years because they were kind of into the Cosmos ecosystem, and the Cosmos ecosystem just kind of got wrecked after Luna and Solana and other L2s, Ethereum L2s got more popular. So I guess that's why only we are seeing like these brands like other L1s doing hackathons and trying to activate the developer community in Korea now.
And I think like it's kind of very weird, right? Like I just saw a few stats where this is from like I think 1 month back, where I think you also mentioned this that more than 50%, like 45% people own crypto in Korea, and at least 100K new investors are joining the market, and all the exchanges trade billions of dollars. And we also there's so many things that show that there's very high growth happening here, and but on the other side, the number of builders is not kind of reflecting there. So do you think like it's kind of a market where someone can come in and really disrupt?
Well, I'm not sure on that aspect because I think it kind of depends on regulations. So recently, these companies started to move out of Korea to Dubai and Abu Dhabi, Singapore, and actually a lot of companies that are in Korea are not Korean companies technically. They're just companies that operate in Korea but have their HQ in Singapore or Hong Kong. It's because I don't like I've never tried to create like a business license, so I'm not sure what the hurdles are. But I think getting payments in crypto and having a relation with entities overseas in a crypto context, it's very hard to do that in like under a Korean regulatory structure. So I believe that's what's happening, and I think
Although I think I also saw that income tax is capital gains tax is zero right now, and it's for the next couple of years. And also, there's this institutional interest with the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve and stuff like that happening as well. So, don't you think like that kind of makes it more attractive, where the taxes are not there and it's not an issue, and everyone in the US is kind of fighting for this no capital gains tax, whereas in Korea it already exists. Do you think that's an attractive selling point for builders, or it doesn't really matter that much for them?
I don't think that really matters because first of all, if you're going to be in crypto, like building in Korea, there's not a lot of talent actually, because since crypto is natively in English, since it's a internet, uh, I don't know, like an internet business, it's like an internet based industry. Everything is English, and most English speakers in Asia are either in Hong Kong or Singapore or like these Southeast Asian countries, cities that have much more higher amounts of like digital nomads. Like for example, Bangkok or Bali would be a better option for people to actually do a business because you meet people who do other crypto projects, which helps you a lot. In Korea, I don't think that's really possible. And even though you get to see someone who has good talent, that person is either one, working for another company, and two, getting paid very well. So it's I'm not sure if you want to do business in Korea as someone outside of the country. And I actually had like this little thought that I want to um do these like weekly English sessions, like English speaking sessions to my Korean fellows so they can, get jobs at like other projects probably, and just well just let the Koreans go overseas, and uh so we can have some more influence in the industry.
It's pretty cool. Is that like a super team initiative as well with Super Team Korea?
Yeah, I think I want to do it as a part of my super team contribution, my contribution into that
It's
thing.
pretty
Yeah.
cool, man. Yeah, it's definitely net positive. Um, Talk to me. Yeah, so I remember back in the day, you also had like this meetup event that you would do pretty frequently, and you'd post about it. Talk to me more about your event experience. So one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, what is our event strategy in Korea? Like, do we want to do events during like Korea Blockchain Week or Middle Asia, or do we want to do like standalone events? Like Virtual Story, all these guys did recently. How, if you were to tell a project, this is your event strategy, what would your advice be?
Actually, doing events on off season is actually good. Because there's not a lot of action going on, and these traders, they're bored. So actually, like I think it was last night, this brand called Sign, they just did like this karaoke night kind of thing. It was kind of funny. Like I just saw the videos, it was hilarious. So if you're looking for like some good social media engagement, I guess doing it on seasons is good. But if you're trying to do something during Korea Blockchain Week or the upcoming Middle Asia Week, doing it more small and more private is the way I would go. And one thing that I see a lot is these. I think this is a lot of personal preference injected in this opinion, but please don't do clubs because I think they're like the worst place to do like these meetups. There are a lot of like fancy, a good cafes in Seoul that has a lot of sunlight. Have some good coffee and some brunch and bread, right?
Yeah,
I would love that instead of yelling inside a club.
yeah.
Also, I
You
heard
know,
that the traffic's a big issue, and hosting all these kind of side events can be, uh, for someone attending, can be a big problem for them.
Yeah, traffic. If you're going to, like, let's say on a regular day, if you're going to take a cab in Gangnam, that's basically you're just telling yourself that you're gonna get late. Just use the
yeah.
subway. In general, using the subway in Gangnam is much more faster than using like getting a cab. And if you
I think
have
that's
to use
the.
it,
I think that's the. That's the. I think that's the scene in like Bangkok, Singapore, KG. I think that's more like universal at this point. Like I remember last year, DEF CON Bangkok. Like I was in a cab for like 2 hours, um, and I reached the side event when it ended. Um, so yeah, no, I think Metro is really cool. Another interesting thing, KG. I think I already told Morbid, but there's this cafe in Korea called W Cafe, and I've been trying to push the team to host a side event there. Like, imagine a wormhole side event at like a W Cafe.
That'd be sick.
Yeah,
yeah, that'd be actually funny.
but yeah, cool. Yeah, Morbid. I think that's all the questions we had for you. At the end of these sort of how-to videos, we usually ask our guests to sort of summarize the conversation, like 3 or 4 action points. Like the key question here and the clip is, Morbid, what's your number one advice for people or projects looking to go to market in Korea?
Okay. Advice: speak Korean, cause Koreans don't speak English. Uh, that's like the number one advice. So if you don't speak Korean, at least get someone who speaks Korean. And yeah, again, no clubs, meetups. Meetups at clubs are gay. Don't do that. We want good food. We want some good beverages. Koreans are very sensitive on their food. If you feed them well, they treat you well. And yeah, I think that's about it.
that was that was
Perfect.
straight. Yeah, and then more. Okay, so following up on that, I know this was the last question, but when you say find someone like speak Korean, working at an agency or having worked at an agency in the past, is it easier for a team to hire someone in Korea or start off with an agency? How would you recommend them to sort of take the first step into Korea?
That's a very, very hard question because I don't know how, like, people outside of the country see entering Korea, but I would imagine most people have to go with agencies because they cannot find individuals. And even if you find individuals, most of them lack like understanding like cultural differences because they don't speak English. And these individuals also don't have like good connections to other people because these agencies are like the OGs of the space most of the time. But also agencies are packed with other work to do, so it's hard to like laser focus on one project, which kind of makes projects not happy about the outcome. So I don't know. Like honestly, it's really hard. A lot of people ask me to introduce me to D spread, and a lot of people actually ask me to work together. But every time I'm like, oh, the D spread guys are too busy though. Like they have like a backlog of like I don't know, like so many people they're talking to, and even I have so limited time. So maybe it's a good idea to find someone who just speaks English well and teach them how to work if that's an option. I don't know. That's why you gotta give us jobs, man. Like we gotta like grow this Korea crypto scene so you can be happy. So yeah.
That's another way to think about it for sure. I think with Superteam, we'll do a lot of stuff with, like, I don't want to show wormhole and what we're thinking of doing, but Superteam in particular, And you now working with them and doing all these activities, I feel really confident about the Korean market. It is the highest concentration of crypto users. It is the highest concentration of crypto users in one place that don't speak English. So it's disconnected to your crypto strategy. So I definitely think if the developer scene sort of sparks up again, we'll see a lot of interest from teams coming back, actually doing net positive activities then. And maybe we'll take away the joke of like Korea being or Asia being exit liquidity, for instance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like good times ahead for the Korean crypto scene.
We will dump on the West.
No, I mean we won't dump on anyone. It'll be net positive for everyone. KG, you're giving me so many moments that we're gonna have to cut out. Like every time someone says something, I'm like, shit, that's like editing work. That's like editing work. Um, but okay, cool, man. Morbid, thanks so much for hopping on, man. This was amazing. I'm really excited to see everything you do with Superteam Korea. And yeah, good times ahead for the Korean crypto scene.
All right. Give us jobs. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.